I'm 87 years old. At this age, saying that feels less like information and more like a warning. Not to you, to me. A reminder that whatever is left is already smaller than what's gone. My wife died 6 months ago. And after she was buried, after the house emptied out and the voices faded, I found a letter she had written to me. She never mentioned it while she was alive. That's the part I still don't understand. I've lived most of my life believing that if something mattered, it would announce itself. Turns out, the most important things leave quietly. I'm sitting alone as I tell this. Same chair, same room. The clock on the wall ticks louder than it ever used to. Or maybe I just notice it now. When you get old, silence isn't peaceful. It's demanding. I met my wife when I was 23 years old. She wasn't loud. She wasn't dramatic. She had a way of looking at you that made you feel seen without being exposed. I remember thinking she felt safe. Not exciting, not mysterious. Safe. That mattered to me back then. I wanted a life that made sense. We married young, not because we were reckless, but because it seemed practical. We talked about bills, about where we'd live, about how hard things might be at first. We didn't talk much about feelings. I didn't think that was a problem. I thought feelings were something you proved through action. I worked. That became my identity without me noticing. I left early. I came home tired. I counted hours the way some men count memories. She supported me, or at least she never stood in my way. I took that as approval. I never considered it might be patience. Our days fell into routines. Dinner at the same time, television after, sleep. Weekends were for errands and fixing things around the house. People asked if we were happy. I think we were content. I don't know if that's the same thing. She used to talk more when we were younger, about small things, about people she met, about thoughts that didn't have a purpose. I listened at first, then halfway, then less. Not because I didn't love her, because I thought love meant she'd always be there to talk later. Later became my favorite word. Later when work calmed down. Later when the kids were older. Later when there was more time. I didn't understand that later is how you slowly disappear from someone without ever leaving the room. There were moments, small ones, the kind you forget until it's too late to remember them differently. She'd ask if I wanted to take a walk after dinner. I'd say I was tired. She'd tell me about a worry, and I'd solve it instead of listening. She'd sit beside me, and I'd keep my eyes on the television. We didn't fight. That's what I told people with pride. What I didn't realize was that conflict avoided is often connection avoided too. Years passed without anything breaking. And because nothing broke, I assumed nothing was wrong. The children grew up. They left. The house got quieter, and I told myself this was finally our time. But by then, something had already thinned out between us, not gone, just fragile. She spoke less, not coldly, just carefully. As if she was measuring whether words were worth using. I noticed. I just didn't ask why. Asking would have meant admitting I might have missed something, and I wasn't ready to see myself that clearly. Her illness came quietly. Tiredness, doctor visits we both thought were unnecessary. I wanted normalcy so badly that I treated concern like an inconvenience. When the truth finally arrived, it came with charts and calm voices and a sense that the room had already decided our future. I sat with her through treatments, held her hand, drove her to appointments. Everyone said I was devoted. I wish devotion had come earlier, when she was still waiting. She never complained. Not once did she say I had failed her. She thanked me for things I should have done without thanks. That kindness was unbearable. The night she died, there were no speeches, no final words meant to fix everything, just breathing. Then not. After the funeral, people checked in, then they didn't. That's how it goes. The house became a place filled with evidence. Her shoes by the door, her handwriting on envelopes, her absence louder than her presence ever was. The letter was in a drawer I rarely opened. Plain, no decoration, my name written carefully. I sat at the table for a long time before opening it. I think part of me knew it would tell the truth I had avoided. She wrote that she loved me, that she was grateful for the life we built, that she knew I showed love by staying, by providing, by never leaving. Then she wrote one sentence that stopped me cold. I waited for you, and I don't think you noticed. No anger, no blame, just a fact. That sentence replayed every quiet evening, every later, every moment I chose comfort over connection. I realized then that I hadn't been cruel. I had been absent in slow motion. That's the kind of mistake you don't see until the ending is already written. You can't fix what's finished. That's the truth no one prepares you for. I talk to her sometimes now. I explain myself, I justify, I apologize. The room listens better than I ever did. People tell me I shouldn't be so hard on myself. They say I did my best. Maybe I did. But doing your best without paying attention can still cost you everything that mattered. If you're listening to this, I'm not here to warn you dramatically. I don't believe in speeches like that. I can only tell you what I wish I had understood sooner. That presence is not automatic. That silence, when chosen too often, becomes distance. That love needs to be noticed while it's still alive. Regret doesn't shout. It waits. It shows up when there's nothing left to distract you. I don't have much time now. I feel it in my body, in my mornings. Every day feels borrowed. I keep routines. I keep the house. I visit her grave and talk about ordinary things. It's strange how ordinary everything feels after the end. If this meant something to you, if it made you think of someone you've been postponing, don't rush to fix anything. Just don't assume time is patient. I had a long life. I had love. I just didn't hold it when it reached for me. When I'm gone, this story won't matter much. Most stories don't. But if it stays with you for even a moment, if it slows you down just enough to notice someone beside you, then it mattered more than my silence ever did. I'm tired now, but I'm glad I finally said this. Some truths don't bring peace. They just deserve to be spoken before there's no one left to hear them.